Mike Joe asking, is that a 5-digit sub on the table? No, it's a 5-digit Sea Dweller. This is actually a Z Series last hurrah for that 5-digit Sea Dweller, the 16600. This was the watch from immediately before the fall, just before the Baselworld debut of the Deep Sea that killed the 40mm Sea Dweller for a while. One of the nice things about this one is that it's got the reference 93160A bracelet, which has that traditional Rolex feel and fit. It does have hollow center links and a stamped clasp, in excellent condition I may add, but it also was sort of an intermediate missing link because it has solid end links. So you get that 40mm pared down 5-digit Sea Dweller case, but with a bracelet that wears just a little bit more modern than the full hollow links, and again still gives you that Rolex rattle and the lighter wrist feel some people prefer. Also, it's pre-super case. This one's only 14.5mm thick. Important to remember when you use the Deep Sea as a reference, because the Deep Sea is 18.5mm thick. So in a lot of ways, this watch is so trim, and I'm going to go back to my macro camera, that it just sort of wears like a cleaner looking Submariner. It doesn't have the Cyclops eye because of the thicker crystal, so a lot of people think, at a glance, this is more elegant than the sub.
Yeah, a lot of people look for these watches when they're looking for a the sub without the Cyclops, absolutely.
Yeah, and again, because it's not easy to distinguish from the sub, unlike the Deep Sea, which followed it, which, you know, is bigger than a semi-trailer, this one's a little bit more coy about its identity. You can see the helium escape valve, so you know it's a Sea Dweller. Josh has got the two Sea Dwellers from different generations. He's got the Deep Sea, the modern iteration of the 666, and the much-loved 16600 Sea Dweller. Now, also worth mentioning, I have a question from Timestamp Still. Tim, what kind of movement is in the Blancpain 50 Fathoms? How does it compare to Rolex? Interesting question, because they just released a 38mm 50 Fathoms. The 38mm 50 Fathoms has the Frederic Piguet 1150, which is a nice movement, 4-day power reserve, a little more in fact at 100 hours, but I wouldn't consider it Rolex tough. Whereas the 45mm reference 5015 and the 43mm Bathyscaphe reference 5000, they use the 1315, which is a 5-day movement, free sprung, very tough, and related to the 13RO, which Mark Hayek bragged he took mountain biking with no deviation or damage.
Yeah, that's one thing we always hear about the Blancpain movements, that they are super tough. You know, that's one thing, right?
Well, the 1315 and the 13RO definitely are. Anything that's like a Frederic Piguet heritage movement, like an 1185 chronograph and 1150 automatic, can be a little bit, I would say, fine and fragile. Like a JLC 889, it just doesn't belong in a sports watch. So if you own one of those 50 Fathoms, wear it gingerly. Consider it more of a sporting watch in sensibility than a beater. That's the real difference.
Yeah.
Okay, question from Dreamscape Hero Music, 666. Josh, could you please explain what we mean by 666?
666, it just has to do with the reference number, right? So it's going to have 3 6s in a row in the middle of the reference number, right?
Exactly. The 666 was first a transitional Sea Dweller between the original 1665 and the watch that we have here, the 16600.
Right.
The 666 was a transitional reference called the Wicked One sometimes. Interesting, when the Deep Sea came out, its reference, and I'm going to show you the Deep Sea here, this is the James Cameron, but the Deep Sea was 116660, leaving a lot of people to speculate that a 116600 would follow with a traditional 40mm size, and of course in 2014 that happened.
Right, and there's speculation that that's going to be discontinued now.
Yeah, there is speculation that that will be discontinued, because if you look back, although you couldn't buy a Sea Dweller until late 1971, if you worked for Comex, you would have had a prototype in hand as early as 1967. So this is an anniversary year for the Sea Dweller, and there's some speculation that Rolex might do something with the line, either discontinuing the 40 and replacing it with something maybe not similar, but scintillating. Or even discontinuing the Deep Sea, or maybe the James Cameron Special Series. A lot of speculation. You can just add it to the pile where Rolex is concerned.